Still Mills was the Dizzle, man. Tapping back in with y'all, man. Heading to work on this early Tuesday morning. Sun is beaming, man. Sun is beaming. That's a sign that we done made it through the storm in the Midwest, man. But we gotta talk about this Joel Diaz situation, man, with Abney Yildirim, man. Man, listen, man. Joel Diaz is a coach and a trainer that takes his job very personally and very seriously, man. He wasn't even with Tim Bradley for the last, 2, 3, 4 fights of his career before he retired because he just wasn't about to be no yes man. He wasn't about to be no yes man ass dude. I'ma speak what's on my mind, G, and that's just what it is. I'm not I train you. You're the face of this team, but you ain't just finna walk all over me and just, you say jump, I say how high. Ain't none of that bullshit. He's a very thorough dude, man. Very unapologetic about who he is. So, for motherfuckers to come up with the notion that somehow he was in cahoots with the Canelo Alvarez is dumb as fuck. Like, y'all niggas is dick mouths for that. What the fuck, bro? Like, what people aren't realizing is, if me as a trainer, and this isn't me personally, you dig, I'm not a trainer, but I'm just saying, speaking from a trainer's perspective, me as a trainer, if I'm training a fighter, how you perform, I'm attached to that. You dig what I'm saying? So, me as a trainer, why the fuck would I attach myself to you? Oh, no, not attach myself to you, but why would I go into why would I go into a fight with you knowing I have some sort of nefarious agenda on the back end that could cripple my career further down the line if a fighter wanted to come and train with me? That takes money out of their pocket. That's a stain on their jacket. Their resume is tarnished. All of the above, man. So it just doesn't make sense for a fighter from one team to be and I'm not saying that it can't happen and that it has never happened, but I'm saying in this regard, no, I refuse to believe that it did happen. There's no way you can sit here and convince me that Joel Diaz told Team Canelo, listen, man, just slip me or whatever, I got you. Like, what does he have to gain out of that? You dig? We already off rip knew that Abney Yildirim was a dead man walking going into that fight. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that, man. So it's you can't somehow find a way to pinpoint this on fucking Joel Diaz. You just can't do it. It's just ridiculous that people are coming up with these narratives. And Glovegate is at the pinnacle of this shit. Glovegate is at the pinnacle of this shit. You dig what I'm saying? There's no other way around it, man. I mean, he took the dude in the corner and told him, you got one more round to show me. That man was literally pouring his heart and his emotion into that nigga while he was sitting on his stool. You got one more round to show me. You have one more round to show me something. Otherwise, I'm throwing the towel in. I'm going to throw the towel in. If I'm attached to Canelo in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to let you, hey, yo, I'm going to need you to do this. I'm going to need you to do that. I'm going to give you instructions so you can go out there and continue to fight so Canelo can continue to pound on you. No, he said, you got one more round to show me something. He gave him no instruction other than show me that you are trying to fight. Show me that you want to fight. Show me that. Show me something. There's no way a trainer who is working with the ops is going to do some shit like that. Well, I won't say no way. You always have the exceptions to the rules, but in his case, you have to follow people's reputation, and Joel Diaz has a solid reputation in the sport. He does. I don't understand why everybody wants to start looking at the trainer as opposed to what the fighter is doing. Everybody looked at Mark Breland and threw all the salt on Mark Breland and wished that man death and all that bullshit, but didn't want to focus on Wilder not wanting to train and implement new tactics and new skill sets into his game. Now we look at Joel Diaz as being in cahoots with Canelo Alvarez, but we ain't gonna look at Abney Yildirim not being, in the ring for 2 years. And just not being on the level of a Canelo Alvarez. Like, this shit is just getting real ridiculous. It's getting real soap opera-ish. And I'm like, man, you niggas is some bozos with this shit, my nigga. Like, for real, for real. Abney Yildirim knew that he was a sacrificial lamb. He knew that. You do not go into a fight 2 years off a layoff with Canelo Alvarez and think you're going to do any sort of significant damage. You don't. You don't. So how we can sit here and blame Joel Diaz for the, that misfortune is just besides me. I'm like, you dudes is goofies for real. He lost. He was outmatched. Even if he was in his bag, he was still outmatched. You dig? I saw, they said Chris Eubank said some shit about, oh man, I beat, Abney Yildirim faster than Canelo, even though, they both stopped him in the third, you dig? But the thing is this, man, he was willing to engage with Chris Eubank. He was willing to engage you. He didn't even think twice about engaging Canelo. He didn't. Oh shit. He didn't think twice about engaging Canelo, man, because he knew what it was. He couldn't get in rhythm. He couldn't get in motion. It was just entirely the lights was too bright for him. It was just too much in front of him. So I don't know, man. You dudes need to really stop acting dumb, man. It's getting to a point where it's easier to blame the trainer and not the fighter. If I go in, if I'm responsible for you. If I'm a trainer, that means I'm responsible for you. I'm in a position where I can save you from yourself. I get that. That's what I do if I'm a trainer. So me going into a fight with you, that means when you lose, I lose. You losing does nothing for me. You losing does nothing for me. We lost that fight. You didn't just lose, we lost that fight. So I'm not gonna sit here and put myself in a position of where I'm in cahoots with the Canelo. We know he even going into the fight, he knew what it was, man. But motherfuckers had that. I think I see something in his game that I may be able to exploit. All right, cool, I'll take you on. Fighter and trainer. Even in training camp, from what I seen, he had Abney looking good in training camp. He had him looking good. It was nice in there. He just 2 years late, 2 year layoff. We didn't really get to see. We didn't really get to see it blossom into what it could have been, and we still could. I don't think he should. He shouldn't retire. I don't think he should retire. I think he still had. He's a workhorse in there, man. He's gonna give motherfuckers shit. Put him in there with Berlanga. Let's see if Berlanga can do what he do. I think that would be a good fight. Berlanga versus Abney Yildirim. I think that's a good step up in competition for him. But it's still good for. You don't need to retire. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't fail your country. Half them 90+% of your country don't know shit about combat. They ain't getting in no ring. You ain't failed nobody, man. You a warrior at the end of the day. Like, that's just what it is. You dig? It's just people are just really getting ridiculous with this. Blame him, not him. And it just needs to stop, man. It needs to stop. A trainer and a fighter are a team. They are one. If the fighter loses, the trainer loses. He gains nothing out of that. He gains absolutely nothing out of that. I'm not gonna go out and say that it's just 100% not plausible for a fighter for a trainer from one team to be in cahoots with another team. I won't say that. I would never say that. But what I will say in this situation is bullshit. Due to Joel Diaz's reputation, he has a really solid reputation as being a solid dude. He's a solid motherfucker. So it's just getting too easy to blame the trainer and not the fighter. And the love gate is just at the top of this list, man, because it's just sad. It's just sad to a point you getting death threats. It just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. And this from motherfuckers, you know, people they get a narrative and they run with it, and it's easier to run with it when it's already set in motion. Glovegate was set in motion last year, so now it's easier to just do that with everybody. It's just easy to blame the trainer for everybody, you know, everybody, because you've seen this story play out before. Oh, it was Mark Breland. Oh, well, shit, Joel Diaz. The trainer gets nothing out of a fighter losing, especially in that fashion. Especially in that fashion. You dig what? Look at Buddy McGurk. Buddy McGurk. You're not about to see him as trainer of the year, and I think he's a really good trainer, but his fighters just can't. You know, I haven't really seen him in there with a fighter who can really produce like that. As far as talent is concerned. I mean, back to the Arturo Gatti days. You dig, a fighter died on his watch. Under his guidance. When a fighter loses, the trainer loses. And I think people really need to understand that point, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, motherfuckers need to quit following trends, man. I mean, it's goddamn. Glovegate, the trainer, and man, come on, man. Joel Diaz he has shown nothing in his history to show or to prove that this dude is on, be on some bullshit, man. That dude is a solid dude from what I've seen. Just watching how he moved these past few years. He's a solid dude, real solid. And for y'all that try to attach this to his jacket, is some whole shit, because y'all can't accept the fact that y'all fighter lost. It is what it is, man. That's it. I mean, let them get, it's other fights for him down the line. I'm sure he'll go back to Joel Diaz, because he was like, I'm not going, if you're not there, I'm not fighting. I mean, come on, man. Jim told him, if you're not at this fight, if you can't be there, I'm not fighting. I will not fight. That speaks to him, man. He trusts that dude. That's trust right there. That's what I'm saying, man. You cats need to cut that nonsense out, man. And just stop being dumb. Stop being so simple-minded. Learn to think for yourself and learn how to unpack shit for your goddamn self. Before you jump to conclusions, learn how to be like, oh, well, connect the dots. Connect the dots first. And if there's some mischievous bullshit in there, all right, cool. Now we got something to go on, man. But Joel Diaz is giving you nothing in his history to prove that he's on some nefarious bullshit. Cut that shit out, man. Y'all niggas need to grow up, man. I'm out.